Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to a special edition of Hollywood After Dark. It's my day off. I'm not even supposed to be here today, but I couldn't pass this up. I couldn't not talk about the potentiality, the possibility, the imminent threat of a Justice League 2, as that's what's going on, guys. We have no idea what's going to be happening tonight. Hollywood After Dark, folks. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to the show. Apologies for being a couple minutes late. I was out doing deliveries, got home a little later than I wanted to, and then realized that I still had to put the entire fucking show together. And the problem, though, is that so much stuff happened today that I wanted to talk about, that I want to touch on. It's going to be very, very difficult to condense this thing into an hour. But, folks, we are going to try because, my God, today has been a very interesting day. I see here, you know what? Reed brings up Lin-Manuel Miranda and Percy Jackson. I didn't even make a slide for that. I have no connection to Percy Jackson, but you know what? Lin-Manuel Miranda popping up in the Weird Al Yankovic movie. Mwah, fantastic. I loved it. So, hey, listen, if you're a Lin-Manuel Miranda fan, if you happen to love Hamilton or Moana or Encanto or any of the other things that he has done, he will be, I think, Hermes, right? He's playing Hermes, not Herpes. Hermes in Percy Jackson on Disney Plus. There you guys go. There's that right there. So that happened today as well. Music Man here says, oh God, I hope there's no Justice League 2. DC just needs to take a lot of time off and get their shit together. Man, listen, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I agree with you, man. I agree with you, but some stuff's been kind of happening. Some stuff's been kind of coming down the pipeline. People talking, things are being said that are kind of peculiar, that are very interesting. So without further ado, you know what we're going to start off with? Because I also forgot to get a slide for this as well. But Netflix dropped the very first trailer for Knives Out 2, and I haven't watched this yet. So why don't we give this thing a watch together? Because it comes out in a month in theatrical release, limited, of course, and Netflix. So here we go.
Hello! Oh my God!
Crew, we've arrived. Disruptors have assembled.
Welcome, gang. We got a great weekend.
Who's that?
Benoit Blanc, the detective?
Mr. Blanc, I cannot overstate my gratitude to be here. When's the murder mystery start?
I've invited you all to my island.
Hi!
Because tonight, a murder will be committed. My murder.
Once you're dead, will we still be able to talk to you?
Yeah, I'm not playing dead the whole weekend, dude.
This is truly delightful.
Across the island, I've hidden clues. You will have to closely observe each other. If anyone can name the killer, that person wins our game. Any questions?
Halle Berry. That has a kick.
Oh my God, what happened? Holy
Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a murder, and the killer is in plain sight. For at least one person, this is not a game. I must insist that nobody touch the body.
Jeez, detective, who killed the party?
I need to find a motive for murder.
Everyone would stab a friend in the back to hold on to this rich bastard.
Deal with it. You're all friends.
Why would anyone commit murder?
Are we even going to talk about the elephant in the room?
Am I the elephant?
Yeah, you're the elephant.
You're not that bad.
Think of the danger here.
Are you calling me dangerous?
Well, we'll see.
Let it all out.
Hell yeah!
This is reckless. The killer wouldn't hesitate to kill again if it covers their tracks.
You must be really great at Clue, huh?
I'm very bad at dumb things. Ticking boxes, running around, searching all the rooms. It's just a terrible, terrible game.
All right, I'm not going to lie. That looks really, really fantastic. I am excited to see that. I very much look forward to what Rian Johnson comes up with in this environment. I want to see this movie. Only a couple more weeks until we can finally get our hands on it. And there's a lot of people that are definitely going to be in this one. Looking forward to it. Real quick, Moisture with $2 kicking off the night with Super Chat says, vote red. No. Listen, you guys know where I stand politically. We may disagree, but I do believe that if you are an American with the ability to vote, voting Democratic tomorrow is the best way to secure our democracy. Everything else right now is really up in the air. But that, of course, is why we can have these fun conversations about movies, obviously, because it's a nice distraction. Like if you guys haven't already seen Weird, the Al Yankovic story, you get over to youtube.com/Podio commentary. Check out my review, which is really funny because there's people on there who have been commenting that they didn't even know that I had the channel and that they found it randomly, that they like it, they subscribe. So that's great. youtube.com/Podio commentary. My Enola Holmes 2 review also went up. That one, not a lot of people give a shit about. That's perfectly fine. I watched it with my family. I also want to start trying to develop longer form content, which is what I'll be working on tomorrow morning once I take my kids to school. So that's why tonight, of course, will also be kind of on the shorter side. Again, if you guys want to support the channel, patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. Made this terrible graphic, but it is there. Link in the video description. That is the best way. If you can't do super chats, if you don't want to give YouTube 30%, Patreon, $1 here, $1 there. It adds up. It helps out. Keeps the lights on. Thank you very much. Yes, we will be talking about Twitter here in a second. But before we do that, I did something today that you're looking at on the screen that that is very much going to be a one-time thing. All right. It's going to be a one-time thing. I was looking around like AI-based software today, and I was looking up like AI-based artwork because I thought, hey, it'd be kind of funny to do AI-based artwork for like thumbnails or something, right? To have a little bit of fun with that. So I was experimenting a little bit, and this is what I came up with. I came up with James Gunn. I said writing Superman, but it actually put James Gunn as Superman, looking like a little bit like Dana Carvey. But and you know what? It looks pretty good as far as a 4K upscale. And then I also typed in Kung Fu Panda Superman and got that image right there. The Panda one I really like actually, but I don't know if it's worth $20 a month. I don't know if it is. It's not the Wonder app, Spherical Man. It was Jasper.ai. It was their art. I was looking at like ways to like configure like using AI to help me with some writing, but I ended up stumbling across this and giving it a shot. $20 to give it a shot. So there's that. It's just something. And then I have a little bit more AI artwork that I put together popping up later on in the stream on another story because it is what it is. I just thought these were interesting. Maybe I'll find a way to like slip them into like thumbnails or something. Anyway, we can move on from there. So what we're finding out tonight, this is actually big news if you happen to follow movie news on the internet. Really, the best place to get it right off the bat is, in fact, Twitter. And we'll be talking a bit more about movie news and Twitter here down the road tonight. But what we're finding out is that apparently Elon Musk has reportedly considered putting all of Twitter behind a paywall. And a lot of people, a lot of people are saying, I'll quit, I'll leave. Someone messaged me tonight and said, John Campea left Twitter. Don't know. He had me blocked a long time ago. Have no real idea what he's up to. Don't really care. It's John Campea. But a lot of people think, CJH here says here, Twitter is dead, officially dead. I'm not paying for Elon's paywall. Didn't you get, CJH, I got to call you out though, buddy. Didn't you pay for Twitter Blue? Weren't you saying that on Max's stream the other night? So I don't know, man. But look, here's the thing. If they put it behind a paywall, it really does depend on how much, like how much it costs and what you get access to. What I think is if they charge like $5 a month, but that was and you got verified, and that was to prove that you are who you are, not this $8 a month shit. and it got rid of the spam bots, and it got rid of the people with like the 1,800 multiple accounts that are really good at like spreading disinformation. And yeah, I'm referring a lot to the Snyder fandom as well. It would get rid of well over 13% of those guys, probably a hell of a lot more, and force you to actually like kind of be yourself. It would, I'm not saying it has to do away with anonymity. What I mean is like, you know, it just has to prove you are a person. That could be something worthwhile. And the reason why, like, I know people out there saying like, fuck that, delete Twitter, move away, blah, blah, blah. The thing is that when it comes to actual like news and it spreads, there was a saying, this is a decade ago, news doesn't break, it tweets. And yeah, so this particular platform has very, very, very widespread influence in a number of ways. While it's not used as heavily as Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever, man, like a lot of like Instagram or TikTok or whatever, it still has massive influence. And it's not going to go away overnight. It's not going to be killed overnight. It's not going to be killed instantaneously. They're going to figure out a way to do it. That's what I think. Now, will I pay for a check mark? No, I'm not going to pay for a fucking check mark. Well, if Twitter goes and charges me to use it, that depends. If I can use it, you know, that's one way. But if I can still read it and not pay, then I just won't even bother. You know, whatever. But that is what it is. I don't quite know what exactly is going to be happening with this. It's going to be really, really, really fascinating to see what they do. Yeah, Funky Foo here says the spam accounts will pay the $8. It's a joke. I mean, if you want to spend $96 a year to run a spam account on Twitter, then I think you're the bigger fool. And I mean you colloquially. But I do agree here that Elon is the king of the chuds. That's true. Man, like that guy, the more I learn about Elon Musk, because there's like this air of misinformation around him, right? A lot of people prop Elon up to be this like bold, you know, like Tony Stark level type of philanthropist, tech billionaire, sort of yada, yada, yada. But he just got rich off of family handouts and government subsidies, you know? So it be what it be on that one. But that being said, if Twitter dies, it dies. I'd be okay with it. It's really terrible. Twitter is just toxic as all shit. But news does come through here, and I do get a lot of news from Twitter. So, you know, because again, even looking at this next tweet right here, Terrifier 2 discussing film. These guys, I use these guys a lot. They posted today that Terrifier 2 has now passed 10 million at the box office on a $250,000 budget. Now, I've talked a lot about Terrifier 2. I have very much enjoyed the Terrifier franchise. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it next. Obviously, Art the Clown is coming back in a big, bold, crazy, disgusting way because this motherfucker is everywhere. Like, you cannot deny the success here. I mean, Smile had a couple $1 million budget and it went wide and it did $100 million. This is very much a word of mouth movie, which is why I have to give it a lot of credit, got to give it a lot of love, things like that. So anyway, good on Terrifier 2. It comes out on digital here, I guess in a couple days, which is really weird because I watched Terrifier 2 on digital. It's already out. I don't know why I saw this earlier. But yeah, see here, Mladen says, fuck yeah, Terrifier 2 and Smile made bank. They did. Music Manager says, excellent. Good for Terrifier 2. Blessing here says, all I saw was the bedroom scene, and that was it for me. I'm going to put it to you like this. The upside down girl in Terrifier 1, I think is overall a worse scene. Okay. The bedroom scene for me, like by like the third time we cut back to that bedroom scene, it had like become comical and it lost its impact. If they would have cut out the middle scene, like with the salt and the bleach, I would have been like a little bit like, okay, with like them still being gory. But like what I loved was the scene following the bedroom scene with the candy. So there's that one there. And yeah, Music Manager says the gore was so goddamn good. Damien Leone, who wrote and directed the movie, actually did do the visual gore, the makeup effects on it. So you know what? It's a very homegrown horror movie. And I'm happy with it. Blessing here saying, could he be a horror movie icon in the making? Absolutely. Smile has done a fair amount of money. And Smile is one that I haven't seen. I'm going to watch it when it hits home video, but I'm just saying it's like, this is very much Art the Clown is very iconic at this point. I'm very excited to see what that does next. So we're gonna go from there. All right. By the way, Film Gob or Goblin, I see your DM, dude. I'm only doing it by myself tonight, so because I got to keep it short. But we'll do some stuff later on. All right. Also, here we got to look tonight or today at Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans in The Red One. This is the new Amazon movie that is coming out from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. J.K. Simmons and Bonnie Hunt will also star as Santa and Mrs. Claus. What's so interesting about this movie is that what they are, like when they talk about this movie, they talk about it from the perspective of franchising and merchandising. Like they're not even talking about it being a movie first and then going from there and turning it into something that fans are going to want to see more of. They're already talking about it from turning it into a business conglomerate. They just want to find a way to market on Christmas and to sell you on that kind of shit. And I'm not like, to me, that's not to say that it's like the worst thing on the planet. I understand they're just being upfront about this shit, but it's like, let me get excited for the movie and not go, yeah, this kind of sucks. I don't really like, I don't really care about any of the other stuff here. Like, I don't give a shit about what you're trying to do on the marketing side of things, because to me, that's just really, really effing stupid. Make it something worthwhile and then we'll go from there. RWP here says, I'm so done with Dwayne Johnson as an actor. I just want him to stop. Oh, dude, we haven't even gotten to the worst thing Dwayne Johnson related in the stream. We haven't even gotten to the worst possible thing. Steven, I have not talked about the Gears of War news. That is going to be towards the end. That was going to be the main subject line tonight, was going to be the Gears of War 2 stuff or the Gears of War stuff. But of course, the Justice League stuff kind of happened and it ended up kind of taking over. Another thing we found out today is that The Acolyte has begun production. They are shooting it in London. It stars Amanda Steinberg, Lee June Jae, I'm probably mispronounced that. Apologize. Manny Jacinto. You got Daphne Keane, Jodie Turner-Smith, Carrie Ann Moss. You know what? This is like they got a lot of stuff here. They also gave us our very first info about what the plot of it is going to be. So in a synopsis here, it says a former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. So what this says to me is very much like they are going kind of the Andor route, which is going to make it maybe not darker, but it's going to be maybe a little bit more adult themed. It's going to be, or very kind of like, like late teen themed or whatever. It's going to have some of those themes going on. And if they can make it as dark or as gripping as Andor, and I think like they're learning their lesson off of some of the stuff, from like Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. If they can make it like Andor, they can start really getting into some solid storytelling. And from there, just give us something amazing. The guy from Squid Game there, right? That dude's amazing. I don't want to mispronounce his name, which is why I don't want to say it. But that guy is an amazing actor, and having him go from Squid Game to Star Wars is fucking crazy. And good on him for getting the opportunity. Obviously, I'm very excited for Squid Game season 2 whenever that comes out. But for right now, bring on The Acolyte. I'm very excited for that. It'll be a lot of fun when that thing comes out. Also today, we did get our first look at some new images from Avatar 2. Two of them that I was able to find specifically. This one here is a very nice shot of Kiri. This is the Sigourney Weaver played character. This is Jake and Natiri's daughter. And this is the one, I've seen this image a lot. So like they said, this is a new, exclusive image to Total Film. I've already seen this, but it looks really good. I mean, this is where the effects are going, even though James Cameron himself has been saying, well, he potentially might want to wrap things up if number 2 and 3 aren't necessarily like going to be the most profitable. But I think we all know that at this point, I think he's creating a FOMO, if you want my honest take on that. But another thing with that I think is going to be really interesting. How is this image creepy, Music Man? I don't understand how this image is creepy. Is it just, it looks too lifelike, or you're like, it's a 70-year-old in like a 16-year-old's body? I don't even know. Spherical Man, I will not take your avatar negativity tonight, sir. I will not take it. All right. You can. Anyway, but another image they put out was this one here showing Quark. This is Quark as an avatar, and it looks, I'm not going to lie, he looks very similar to Jake Sully. Now, my question then becomes, how the fuck did they get Quaritch into an avatar? And two, why does he kind of resemble Jake Sully? Because that to me is going to be fascinating. Like, now, obviously the tattoo on the arm is what he had in the first movie. And, you know, this is what it's going to be. But man, I don't know if, I don't know what they have planned for this. I have a feeling the story is going to be really interesting. And I just wonder if they were able to, like, you know, clone him and put him into this thing, but they were only able to get like whatever they had from Jake Sully because they had his DNA, you know, his genetic profile, that they would be able to replicate another avatar. So what if they're like, look, we need to stop Jake Sully. What if we send in Jake Sully to kill Jake Sully? Like, what if we send in Quaritch in Jake Sully's body and have him be matched up to fight Jake Sully? Look, it's a weird take. It's a weird idea. It's a weird speculation. Anything is fucking possible, you guys. Anything could happen here. So I'm definitely interested to see what exactly is going to be happening here. Donovan says here, how does it feel to betray your own race? I have a feeling that's going to pop up in this one as well. Most likely there's that one. Well, also, okay, Donovan says here, well, Jake had a twin. Yeah, and that's how Jake was able to use his brother's body. So I'm wondering if they're going to be like, if they're going to duplicate that. Yeah, Ryan here says a duplicate Jake Sully. Absolutely. Let's see. Rational here says Quaritch probably had an avatar of himself laying around just in case. I don't think so. I don't think so. He was very xenophobic. He was very xenophobic, and he didn't care about any of that stuff. He didn't care about any of it. He was very xenophobic. He didn't care about destroying the great tree. He didn't care about, like, you know, killing them. He tried to act civilly in the beginning, but he was more than happy to use like biological warfare, to use chemical warfare, to use, you know, threats, to use violence, to actually kill the Na'vi. I mean, all things considered, he had no care in the world about what he did. He just hated them because they were in his way from what he needed to accomplish. And there was no like Geneva Convention. There were no rules of engagement he had to follow in order to you know, to keep himself legally protected. He could do whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't want to cause a genocide, but he would have, and he was kind of at the end of the movie going to do it. However, there's one thing in Avatar 1 that kind of caught my attention that I thought was a bit of a plot point, a bit of a plot hole, I should say. In the very beginning of the movie, they say that the Na'vi are exceptionally hard to kill. And yet, at the end battle scene, when the one guy, Choctaw, I think that was his name, the other dude who was like the follow-up to the chief, you know, he jumps on the back of the plane and he gets gunned down pretty quickly. And it's like, I thought they were pretty like resistant to bullets, but he got gunned down pretty quick. I don't quite know. Donovan here says, I have a feeling that The Way of Water will be very surprising to a lot of people. I hope so, man. I'm very excited to see it myself. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see here. Andrew Dunbar says, I've seen a quote from Stephen Lang talking about the company having Quaritch's DNA. That would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. I'm excited to see what James Cameron has come up with. I have a feeling, but it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a fun time. 3 hours and 10 minutes. Woof. That's a long movie. Better order your Depends. By the way, we just cracked 24 minutes into the stream, 100 people watching. Yes, we're going to be getting to the Justice League stuff, but in the moment, guys, please do me a favor, do me a solid. Smack the like button, share the stream, subscribe if you're new. Let us here enjoy Hollywood After Dark. What is this here? We got the Rational says Campy is streaming with this Hugh Hefner robe. Of course he is. Of course he is. Yes, Music Man. Avatar, The Way of Water is 3 hours and 10 minutes long. Yeah, I know. You've been warned. Remix here says Avatar 2 is my most anticipated movie for the rest of 2022. Mine too, actually, rest of the year. More so than Black Panther. which Vito Gasoldi, friend of the show, is currently watching Black Panther right now, bastard. I'll be seeing it in a couple days. Moisture here says, do you think Avatar will become the next Star Wars level franchise? Thank you very much for that $5, Moisture. I don't think that, actually. I don't think that. The reason why I don't think that is because Avatar 1 dropped, shit, dude, fuck, like what, 13 years ago, right? And the movie has, a lot of people haven't been clamoring for more that they know of, that they'll openly admit. But there is still a lot of love for the franchise. I think if they're able to take whatever this is and expand upon it in a way that's able to really open up the story, open up the characters, open up the world, make it fascinating enough to want to see more of, then yeah, I could see like Avatar kind of having legs like that. But the other side of that too is like Star Wars is about, like the universe, the fighting good versus evil across the universe, multiple star systems and planets and things like that. Different characters and races and species, and the unknown as a result, and also the mysticism of that shit too. Avatar, I don't know if Avatar has that. I don't know. We don't know enough about Pandora as a whole, I think, to really dive in. Now, I do think that the video game, when it comes out, I think next year probably, will give us a lot more intel on that. I think we're going to get a lot more world building in Avatar 2, but is it enough to really prompt people to lose their shit and want more and clamor for more? I don't know. And I don't even know, because of the success of the first Avatar, what would be deemed success enough for this one, because this is clearly not going to get another $2.9 billion, but it could end up getting 2 billion. I could see it getting 2 billion, if people out there really, really, really like it. And again, look, Disney has done enough with Avatar in regards to Walt Disney World having the ride, right? The Flight of Pandora, whatever it is, having a little section of Pandora at the park. They've kept it alive. They've kept it very much alive in that fandom and in that environment. And now they're going to be running the marketing. It's going to be like fucking blue everywhere. It's just going to be nothing but blue Smurf cat people. Furries are going to go apeshit. Furries are just going to be like simultaneously ejaculating from the rafters. That's what's going to happen. And Ralph here says, won't crack 800 mil domestic. Neither did the first one. The first one only cracked 749 mil domestic. I think this one might do 500 mil domestic. But there's that. Shrek Daddy asking, Jarbo, are you caught up with Andor? I am. I fucking am. Holy shit, Andor is great. Garrick here asking, who is a more bankable star, The Rock or Ryan Reynolds? Believe it or not, it's Ryan Reynolds. He'll be able to go into more franchises and live on longer. He's much more amenable. And while he does play a very, very similar character, it's a character you can ultimately kind of relate to. He plays the every guy pretty well. He plays the relatable guy pretty well. He's non-threatening in many ways, and so you don't have to worry about that. Whereas The Rock just plays stoic 80s action hero, which doesn't really fly anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Ryan Reynolds is a way more bankable star. Way more bankable star than that. All right. Ralph Subtletits here says, I don't know. The runtime might kill second viewing, and hell might even affect the first viewing. Endgame, baby. 3 hours and 59 seconds. So if it's good enough, people will come back for more. It's about the fucking experience. It's about the experience. And that's going to be something that I really want to check out. Spider-Man Gaminger says they're milking Avatar way too much. How? It's been one movie. I don't understand that. Like, I don't, how are they milking it? It's been one movie over 13 years. That's the funny thing about that. That's pretty funny. Donovan here says, I sat through Zack Snyder's Justice League. This will be nothing. I mean, you also sat through Zack Snyder's Justice League in the comfort of your own home. That is a little bit on the different side. You know, when you're in the comfort of your own home and you don't have to worry about anybody else around you or things along those lines, it ends up being a completely different situation. Apocalypse here. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Thank you. Welcome to the show. I recognize you're new here, so I appreciate that. Yeah, Donovan says Endgame went by pretty fast. It's not a very different situation. Andrew here says Return of the King was 3.5 hours. Well, it was 3 hours before the extended cut, but yeah. Let's see. Spherical Manor says Endgame was over 3 hours and wasn't that great. It was amazing. You have bad takes tonight, Spherical Man. I don't know what's going on with you. Sorry, Thirsty. Garrick here asks, do you think The Rock will drop the DC universe since Black Adam is underperforming? Yes, I actually do believe that, and not everyone out there is going to believe me, but I do think a lot of it has to do with what we're going to be talking about here in a second. So by the way, good way for a segue. They released a new Shazam Fury of the Gods poster today. Okay. I mean, look, I want to see Shazam. I can't wait to see Shazam, but I don't think this poster really does anything. But the internet is going to internet, and the internet immediately came back with a gag. There we go. They should run with this marketing. They should just absolutely run with this marketing. Like Shazam, Fury of the Gods, a.k.a. Big Dick Energy, or something like that. This is at least something funny. I can't wait for Shazam 2. I think it's going to be a blast of a movie. We'll be getting I don't think we're going to be getting another Shazam trailer, Donovan, just because there's like nothing. That is the next DC movie coming out. Warner's doesn't have anything coming out really until then. So I don't think we're going to end up really getting a lot out of that one. But I thought this was a pretty funny little thing to put together on social media. So good on Twitter for that one. Obviously, they know how they want to market some stuff. And but I'll tell you this, okay? I'll tell you this. This next thing that I want to show you guys, this next thing here is a real t-shirt. And we're talking about The Rock and Black Adam. Okay, I got to bring this up. This is a real t-shirt, and I posted about this earlier today on Twitter if you follow me over there. But this is a real shirt. You can get the DC Shop exclusive. Black Adam, Superman logo, Black Adam, we should talk. Now, obviously, they're not even hiding the fact that Superman is in this movie, right? We know this now. They haven't hid it at all. They know that Superman is in the movie. They know all this stuff. What's hysterical, though, is they think that this is a good t-shirt design. This is a bad t-shirt design. And I've said this on Twitter. If you buy this, you will be mocked. No, is it Anthony here says, Matt, I bought the t-shirt. Well, then you should post a picture of you wearing it, and I will fucking mock the shit out of you. Ralph Stubbletis here says, that's a great shirt. I would, no, not at all. Not at all. That is a bad shirt. That is a bad shirt. Because for one, it's like where the placement of the text is like your midriff. So if you're a bulky dude, right? Let's say you're like me and you're a rotund American, that shirt's going to come in and it's going to like, that's going to like bulge out at your midsection. So it's going to draw the attention to your fat roll. It's a terrible shirt. Zachary here says, who designed this shirt? A 3-year-old, probably. Spherical Man here says, I'm a DC guy, and that is not a good shirt. Spider-Man Gaming here says, I can make that shirt myself. Well, you should, perhaps. The Watcher says here, that shirt is great. I can't tell if you're trolling. You got to not troll. You gotta not do it. The t-shirt looks fan-made. It does look fan-made by like a fan with like serious cognitive issues, you know. Fandom NSL here says it's literally just 2 PNGs and a caption randomly placed together. Yeah. If I had to guess, even the font strikes me as Trajan Pro is what I think the font is, which is like the traditional movie theater poster font. Soups would wear that shirt. Oh yeah. Yeah, there we go. Put that Rock art on a shirt. That looks badass. Yeah, this fan art of the Rock, I had this saved from last night. That's why I threw it in here to make it a little bit more exciting of an image. It's like, wow, look at this fan-made image of Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Black Adam. That looks pretty cool. Oh my God, what is this monstrosity to the right? It's terrible shit. Garrick here, oof. I'd rather eat pineapple pizza than wear that shirt. Sir, that is a fucking take. Holy shit. You're gonna subject yourself to pineapple pizza over wearing that shirt. That goes to show you folks that the shirt is pretty shitty. All right. It's definitely pretty shitty. So, all right, let's move on here. This little thing popped up today. I thought was really fascinating, especially if you happen to follow any of the movie news on social media. So this is from GQ. This is a profile from GQ about how normie Twitter accounts became the go-to source for breaking movie news. Right? Not Hollywood Reporter, not THR, not Variety. Not Deadline, not Slash Film, not Collider, not whatever. Fucking film updates and discussing film. These are very much where it's at. And I find it to be really interesting. So this is what they say in the article for the most part. Oops, no, wait. Sorry. I thought I had saved it. They didn't. I had saved screenshots. I thought I added them. I did not add them there. So what this article effectively breaks down, it starts talking about how discussing film, started off a couple years ago. The guy is only 21 years old. He lives in the UK. He's got 15 paid people who work for the website, and they make all the money they make mostly comes from advertisements on discussingfilm.com, and they just build up their Twitter platform, which is why in the wake of what's going on with Twitter, their entire business model is very much up in the air. And they've also decided to migrate over to Instagram and TikTok. The problem with discussing film on Instagram and TikTok is that they're not able to link back to their website. So it's going to, if this ends up, hitting, if this ends up being a bad thing for them, they're fucked, man. And it sucks because I do think that they put a lot of work into it. They post multiple times a day. I read discussing film. I've got notifications turned on for discussing film. That is how often I read discussing film. So I really appreciate what they do over there. But what I thought was really, really, really fascinating about this particular report that came out, because they shared it, right? They shared it. Obviously, they shared it. A lot of other people were sharing it and responding positively. But I actually saw some people who write for other websites come out and attack this particular piece because they do not like that discussing film doesn't always source their response, the information. And they do quite frequently respond. The only one that they don't do really is Deadline. And the reason why they don't do Deadline is because Deadline doesn't source anybody else. And that's a company policy. If you didn't know that, it's actually a company policy by Deadline to not talk about, to not reference anything that wasn't put forward by them, to not link out of sight. That's what they do. And that was a big controversy, I think last year or back in 2020. So obviously it's a situation where discussing film has said, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you, we're not doing this. And, but they've blown up and they're able to really use Twitter and its desire to have discussions about film in a way that I don't want to necessarily say is the most positive. There's a lot of negativity in there, right? But you know what? You can get some good conversations going with people. And I've seen a bunch of really cool people responding to comments and having actual thoughtful interactions on social media, which is usually a radiation infested hellscape. So you know what? But I understand why people out there who write these websites, who write these blogs, who want to make money off of it are frustrated at something like discussing film. But what they should do is probably partner with discussing film and be like, look, can I send you guys some stuff first? You post it, link back to me. Because if all they care about is, they don't really run news through the website. If I recall, they mostly do reviews and features, I think. So that's a way for them to get the attention without having to go and play the news game and everything else. I don't know, man. To me, it's one of those things. RJ here says, discussing film is great. I remember talking to Jacob and friends way back when they first developed the idea for it back in 2016. Yeah, no, I like him quite a bit. I like him quite a bit there. Rhea here says, this is where I get a lot of my movie updates for sure. Yeah, man, me too. I'll tell you this. I will say this though, man, I do check a lot of other different Twitter accounts rather than just discussing film, because I have noticed, and this is recent, they have been kind of selective with what they cover on their platform. They've been very selective, littler things that they would normally cover. And even some stuff that you think that they would dive into a bit more, they simply haven't been, which to me is really, really fascinating. So for example, because we can move on to the next thing here, you've got this information popping up today on Variety. Gears of War movie and animated series coming to Netflix. And a lot of people are just yeah, and then Netflix, fuck, especially after The Witcher. And losing Henry Cavill based upon the stuff we're hearing from behind the scenes and, Resident Evil and and things like that. But hey, look, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, man, like that's apparently really fucking good. And Arcane came out a year ago, and that's really good. Castlevania has been highly lauded and everything else. So they've done some stuff, man. Their animation shit with gaming is probably pretty good. All right, like The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, the animated movie, I thought was pretty fucking dope. So they've done pretty decent with the animation side of things in regards to gaming. The live action stuff really kind of needs a little bit of work here. But here's what we can find ourselves out. This is what they talk about here in the article. So it says Gears of War, one of those popular Xbox video game series of all time, is expanding to Netflix. Netflix is making the feature film adaptation followed by an adult animation series based on the sci-fi shooter franchise. The company announced on Monday. The streamer also notes that there is potential for more stories to follow. Now, my question to that is are they just doing the first Gears of War? Or are they going to go through 2 through 5? What about Tactics? What about Judgment, right? Is it Judgment? Whatever the one that fucking Coalition did. That it was a spinoff, right? I haven't played all of them, to be honest with you. But the Coalition, who took the reins from Gears of War after Microsoft acquired the rights to the series from Epic Games, has partnered with Netflix on the upcoming adaptations. I'll tell you this, there's only one fucking person who I want to work on this franchise. Well, there's two, but really there's only one. And that person is Cliff Bleszinski, who created Gears of War. Cliff Bleszinski worked on, he was a bro gamer back when bro gaming was not considered like an ethnic slur, essentially, right? Like, it just, back then, like that guy was like the quintessential, like, sup bro, let's fucking, this is like Call of Duty before Call of Duty became Call of Duty, like mentality is what I'm trying to say here. Now, the very first Gears of War released exclusively on the Xbox 360 in 2006 and followed a macho team of soldiers called Delta Squad fighting against the Locust Horde, the subterranean alien race that decimates humanity. The main Delta Squad crew consists of Marcus Phoenix, Dom, Santiago, Augustus Cole, Coltrane, love Coltrane, and Damon Baird. The fucking Delta Squad in the first game, awesome. Dom, Coltrane, Damon, I mean, they were all great. They use a variety of heavy-duty firearms, rocket launchers, and lancers, which are rifles with chainsaws attached to them to dispatch the locust swarms. As I said, you've got guns, gore, and the gratuitous slaughtering of aliens. It's a fantastic franchise. It's got a really good story to it as well. But going on here, and this goes at the end of the article, it says, there have been multiple attempts throughout the years to bring Gears of War to the big screen. New Line Cinema briefly had the rights to the film adaptation back in 2007. Then Scott Stuber, who is now the head of original films at Netflix, came on as a producer in 2013 with Epic Games. Universal then hired F. Scott Fraser to write an adaptation in 2018, but no other moves were made. Netflix did not announce any filmmakers attached to the adaptation. So at this particular point, they are very much like in the development phase of this. They haven't got anybody attached to it yet. But, you know, again, there's only really one person's opinion on this that I wanted, and that was Cliffy B. And he didn't disappoint, because on Twitter today, he says, oh, and yes, Batista as Marcus Please and a Latino actor for Dom. Damn it. Now, we all know that John DiMaggio voiced Marcus Phoenix. He did a great job. Obviously, like, yeah, there's that. All right. Yes. Bending Rodriguez voiced Marcus Phoenix. Go fucking figure. However, Batista is around the roughly the same age and has the right body. And he's been kind of campaigning to play this. He really, really, really wants to play Marcus Phoenix. And look, he worked with Zack Snyder, an Army of the Dead, Netflix exclusive. He worked with Rian Johnson over on, Knives Out. That is a Netflix exclusive. He's got a good working relationship with fucking Netflix. So like cast him as fucking Marcus Phoenix. However, if you want my honest opinion about who should direct the movie, I fully fucking admit that it's gotta be Zack Snyder. I agree with RJ here. It's gotta be Zack Snyder and Batista. Now, a lot of people out there would disagree. Why do you want Zack? Oh no, some people said to me today, oh, Zack's out there, he's doing cooler things. Like, look, man, look, a Star Wars knockoff Rebel Moon, yeah, it's probably pretty cool. Okay. But fucking Gears of War. Are you kidding me? Look, Gears of War has got an awesome story The first game's amazing. Like start to finish, it's good. The second one, not as good. It's story-wise. Third one I thought was pretty good. Haven't played 4 and 5. But they're all on Xbox Games Pass. So as soon as I beat Wildlands, I'm going to be diving into fucking Gears of War. But the reason why I say this is because Snyder fits that same kind of mentality. He likes R-rated violent movies. Check. He likes adaptations that are dark and gritty. Check. He knows Dave Bautista. They work well together. Check. He's also got an exclusive deal over at Netflix. Check. And it would be right the fuck up his alley. It would be right the fuck up his alley to come in and do this, to come in and actually make this thing something good. I agree with RJ here. Gears of War screams Zack Snyder. The franchise is totally in his wheelhouse stylistically. Ralph's Double Tits here says Zack Snyder's Gears of War would be that fire. Now, Garrick here says it should be whoever did those Clash of the Titans movies. Oh, Louis Leterrier, who did the Now You See Me 2. I know he did the first Now You See Me. He did work with Netflix on the Dark Crystal prequel series and everything else. But I mean, he also did the Incredible Hulk from 2008. So I still think I honestly think it should be. I think Zack Snyder that's my thing. Plushy here says Michael Bay. Why not? Let's do it. Just imagine a chainsaw kill in slow-mo. That's right, Ralph. That's right. All you would have to do is get a chainsaw kill in slow-mo, Zack Snyder Justice League style of slow motion, and it would go on for 40 minutes. But I'll tell you this, it would be the most orgasmic fucking slow-mo chainsaw kill of all time. Spherical Manor says, is it true that Now You See Me 3 is in the works? Apparently, yeah, I've been hearing about that. Zachary here asks, speaking of video game-based movies, how long until they make movies based on Call of Duty? There's talks. Activision has been in talks to make a movie. I think like someone licensed it. I forget who it was. Here's the thing, though. If you want to see what I believe is the best Call of Duty movie, go back and check out 2011 or 2012's Act of Valor. It was shot with Canon DS5s, or Canon D5s, which are just, again, like they're DSLR cameras, but they were digital. It's shot like the storyline is like a Call of Duty game. They have first person fucking shootouts. It is very, very visceral, very kinetic, very frantic in many ways. It's very in your face. I would definitely, frenetic would be a good word. That's the word I want to use. Frenetic. Check that one out. Act of Valor. I would be okay. Now, Garrick asking, would I rather see a Killzone or Resistance movie? I've never gotten into the Resistance games. I always kind of felt that that Resistance was just kind of like a shitty franchise. I know people like it. It was like the first killer app on the PS3. Okay. I get that. Like it was a big thing, but Killzone to me, it was always better. Killzone was definitely always better. Music Man here says, Call of Duty should be made as a serious film mixed with top tier action. I agree. I do agree. Film Goblin says Act of Valor wasn't good. Act of Valor, again, Andrew Dunbar here says Act of Valor's cast was made up of all active duty Navy SEALs. It was shot, a lot of it was done very much like pro-military. It was very pro-military. In fact, there's a scene, because they shot the movie in San Diego, part of it in San Diego. And there's a shot in the beginning, like 20 minutes of the movie, I think, where like the main guy is walking. It's like the sunset and he's walking like, on a sidewalk, and there's like a beach to his left. And there's these dunes that are right there. I'm watching it in the theater and I stood up. I'm like, I used to get drunk right there. Cause I did before I turned 21. That was Coronado Island. I used to bomb over to Coronado with my friends, and we would go on the other side of those dunes where no one could see us from the road, and we would just get fucking tore up, way back in the day and shit. So I thought that was always kind of cool. So there's definitely that one there. Also RJ here with a $2 PSA. Go vote tomorrow. Damn it. Yes, I'd be okay with that too. I'd be okay with that. Go vote, everybody. Obviously, go vote. We need to vote. Voting is good. Thank you for that, RJ. Appreciate it. Taylor says, how about the director of Replacement Killers? Who directed Replacement Killers? Who directed Replacement Killers? Who directed it? Oh, it was Anton Fuqua. I thought it was Anton Fuqua. You just say Anton Fuqua, buddy. All right. Anton Fuqua is the shit. He'd be good at doing that too. I'd be okay with that. Everything else. Moisture here says, are war movies not supposed to be pro-military? Well, what's funny about that is the way that it works in regards to film production is if you want to get military assets, then you can get that from the DOJ, but you have to portray the U.S. military in a positive light. Like, it can't be a lot of that shit. It can't be super negative, right? So they can't do that. But yeah, generally they're all pretty pro-military. H-Bars for $2 then. Thank you, buddy. Says PSA from H-Bars, play Ragnarok tomorrow. I don't have a PS5, nor do I have Ragnarok. So there you go. I don't have any of that stuff. Also here, Goblin here says, I'm from San Diego as well, and I live in Portland. Yeah, I grew up in Portland. I lived in San Diego. Where in San Diego are you from? Where in SD? I'm going to call it out, man. All right, I lived in Lakeside. I'm not proud of that, but that's where I lived. That's where I lived. I'm just curious where you're at in San Diego. And also, are you in Portland or are you in one of the suburbs, man? Anyway, there's a lot going on. We got we got God of War Ragnarok comes out this week. There's the new Sonic Frontiers game that's coming out, and there's a bunch of good shit there. Although Fry Guy here makes a great point. The best pro-military war movie was Starship Troopers. Hell yeah. All right. Oh, you're from Del Mar? Whatever, dude. You're North County. I don't want to hear shit. You North County snub little bitch. I'm kidding. But no, dude, North County, man, fuck that shit. You're gonna be like, oh man, come on, I fucking like Encinitas isn't that bad. Escondido's kind of nice. All right, you're Northeast Portland. Northeast has been gentrified. When I grew up in Portland, dude, Northeast Portland, this is 100% true. Northeast Portland was like where you don't want to go, right? Like you don't want to go because you had like the Bloods and the Crips were always fighting it out in Portland, man. Like that's now Northeast Portland is like you go over and you're by fucking it's so hipster now. It's like super gentrified. Oceanside. Come on, that's just South fucking San Clemente. Let's be fair. That's like fucking South OC. All right, that's all that is. Beaverton. Yep, I grew up in Beaverton too, man. I lived in Tigard. When I was living in Oregon a couple of years ago, I had an apartment in Beaverton around the corner, actually from Nike's worldwide headquarters. So I am repping my hood. Fucking flat the fuck out. I'm repping my goddamn hood, Ralph. Rational here asks, what about Spring Valley? What about it? The best thing about Spring Valley was the Little Darling strip club underneath the overpass off of the 94. Spring Valley was okay. It's worse. It's definitely worse than Lemon Grove. I'll tell you that. But anyway, let's see. Taylor says my favorite 99-cent store is in Encinitas. Yeah, I know, man. I think. Did I get Comic-Con tickets? No, man, I did not. They keep emailing me about passes. They're like, you want to go? They keep emailing me about it, but I just haven't. I'm not going to be able to go down there, so I'm just not going to get the tickets. But, so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. All right, Spherical Commander says, what do you mean Portland now? According to Republicans, Portland was nuked. Is this a crater now? Nah, man, Portland, like, has got... Look, dude, like, I was actually talking about this with my girlfriend today. We were talking about moving back to Portland area. Like, because I'm a small business owner, I like living in Oregon is just not viable for me, like financially speaking. I also get full health coverage here in the state of Washington, which really helps out. So we're talking like moving down to like the Vancouver area and like getting a place down there, but it's so fucking expensive and it's so many people. So, you know, Portland is a great city. It's crazy though. Okay, I better pre-order if I don't want to end up like John Campia. What do I have to pre-order? I don't quite know. Let's see. Nod to the red Chaz to cover Portland. Chaz was Seattle, dude. Chaz was Seattle. Portland tried a Chaz. It didn't work out. Portland has been on fire quite a bit as of late. Well, you know, things like the burn. Oh, yeah, no. That's the thing is I'm not going to Comic-Cons. I don't need to worry about pre-ordering tickets. They email me. Dude, I've been going for 20 years. They email me and they're like, hey, we have press passes open. Cool. I send them my info. I'm in. You know, I send them, I'm in. But I'm just, if I'm not going to go down there, I'm not going to get tickets. So anyway, let's move on from there because there's still a lot to get to tonight. Here was the last thing about the Gears of War stuff. I did put Zack Snyder Gears of War into the AI art editor, and these are just a couple of responses. This is an AI art editor attempting to tell us what Zack Snyder looks like on the left here. And then for some reason, it merged like two dudes together for the second image. But I do think the second image is pretty cool. You know, I do think the second image is actually pretty cool. But this is what I was trying to do with like Gears of War and AI art, and it didn't work out very well. That's unfortunate there. But all right, guys, let's talk about motherfucking Justice League 2, because this shit, I don't even know. I don't even know what to make of this at this particular point in time, because it's been a crazy couple days. In fact, it actually started with this a couple days ago. Oh wait, wrong one. That was a trailer for that was Knives Out. Apparently I had added Knives Out twice. My bad. Hold on here. Let me get the right video file. There we go. I don't know what happened with that. My bad. There we go. All right. So it started with this a couple days ago.
Worst thing in the world. All right, this needs to be documented. What's the date today? 6th. The 6th of November. The greatest news, some of the greatest news in my life just happened. I can't say anything about it. Fuck yes! Ah! I can't wait to share with you, but they won't let me share anything. I want you to remember this date, November 6th. Mwah! You know who you are? Mwah! Mwah, maestro. Mwah!
All right, so what is Jason Momoa talking about there? That has been a question. That was something that was brought up yesterday when that little video popped up over on Instagram. A lot of people were talking about, I think RJ was even in the DM group this morning saying like, it has to do with the Hawaii project he was passionate about. But now we think it might be actually something a little bit on the different side, because the question then becomes, who is the maestro that he is talking about? Who exactly is the maestro that Jason Momoa is referring to? Well, according to Flash Film News, who has connections to Barbara Muschietti and has been very good about following everything, he posted this a little bit ago saying, Flash fact, Andy Muschietti's nickname on the set of the Flash movie was the Maestro. And this is Ezra Miller, in I guess truest Ezra Miller form, actually confirming that.
Someone like the Maestro, Andy Muschietti, greatest time of my life.
There you go. Calls him the Maestro. Now, that seems, I mean, look, is it a little coincidental? Sure. Is it a little, you know, all that stuff? Absolutely. 100%. But, all right, a little bit kind of crazy there. Because then today there was an interview published over on ET Canada where it got a little bit more kind of crazy. And if you notice, Momoa in this interview is wearing the same shirt that he was wearing in the November 6th hype video on his Insta.
Now, Jason with Henry Cavill back in the tights as Superman. I gotta say, man, it looks like things are open for the JL to come back together, maybe take on Black Adam. What are your thoughts?
I think with Peter Safran and Mr. Gunn at the helm now of DC, I'm very excited about that. There's a lot of cool things going to be coming up, and one of my dreams come true will be happening under their watch. So stay tuned.
A lot of stuff going on with that. Little bit of stuff there, not too much, right? Not too much, but we can think about that for a second and go, you know, obviously with Gunn being involved and Gunn coming out and saying stuff like, hey, we hear all of what you guys want. We want to tell these great stories. What's going on? Well, you know, Casey Walsh, who has his ear to the ground, a number of things. He came out right after this stuff popped up today. And he says, Justice League 2 with Muschietti directing. Now, that's a bold claim. When someone asked for any further info on this, he did make the claim that he is waiting for a second source to confirm. Now, obviously, this is completely rumor mill. It is 100%. We have no fucking idea what's going on. Casey has got kind of an interesting track record when it comes to this kind of stuff. He's a bit of an aggressive guy on the social medias and everything. So it is that kind of situation where we are going to have to wait to see what the confirmation might be. But there is one thing that I found to be kind of fascinating about this, and that is actually while I was Googling images for Andy Muschietti, I did come across this headline from 3 years ago. Amber Heard is dating Andy Muschietti after Vito Schnabel split. Now, I don't know how many guys Amber Heard has dated. That's not my take. That's not my case. I don't care. But I find it to be pretty funny that she apparently dated Andy Muschietti. And so if he does take over Justice League 2, will they be recasting Mara? At this point, I don't think they're going to end up recasting Amber Heard. I don't know necessarily what they're going to be do. But I would say that things are very much looking to be interesting here. Now, RJ, for 5, thanks, buddy, says, Jason's DC dream would be 100% reuniting with his fellow JL cast members. He hasn't worked with some of them in years. Muschietti is beloved right now at Warner's. Yeah, no, he is. I mean, obviously, what he was able to do with the It movies, I mean, It Chapter 1 being better than It Chapter 2, but let's be fair, even in the book, It Chapter 1 is better than It Chapter 2. The whole, 1950s versus 1980s or whatever, obviously. But yeah, I agree. I think Muschietti, he comes in on time. He comes in probably on budget or under budget, whatever. He knows how to direct. He's a gifted storyteller. And the rumors and reports coming out of Warner Brothers when talking about the test screenings and the score is that this movie, The Flash, is testing as high as The Dark Knight did back in 2008. Now, I don't know how much of that information you want to put together in your own, mileage may vary. But this is going to be something where things are going to get very, very interesting. Because the question then becomes whether or not Ezra Miller is coming back. And I think at this particular point, it is most likely that Ezra's coming back. It is most likely that Ray is coming back if they're able to make it work. Now, does that mean that Zack Snyder will be directing Justice League 2? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe Zack is coming back. I think the actors might come back, but I don't believe that Zack is coming back. And I say that because of how long it's going to take for Rebel Moon Part 1 and Part 2 to finish. He's got to get, they're getting ready. I think they just wrapped principal photography, or they're getting ready to wrap principal photography. Then he's got to go and do all the post work, the reshoots, everything else. Then, of course, there's the press tour. Then there's Planet of the Dead, which apparently is the next movie, whatever he might be working on with Netflix. I mean, there's, we talked about the potentiality of the Gears of War movie. If they want to offer it up to him, he might delay Planet of the Dead to go in and do Gears of War. I don't know. He might want to do something that's super crazy. Who knows? We don't know what Zack has planned. We won't know till we know. But in the meantime, it's possible that they're going to bring everybody back. And Ezra's problems have largely gone away. Ezra has kept their head to the ground. They've nose to the ground. They haven't gotten in with anybody. I mean, pissed anybody off. So in recent months. And again, I think by the time that the movie starts to roll on out, that we're going to be getting, a lot of that's going to be very much in the past, right? It's going to be very much forgotten about unless Ezra has some kind of relapse or Ezra actually ends up getting convicted of stealing the 3 bottles of booze from their friend's house that they're currently charged with. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one there. Max says, what am I hearing? This is what happens when you take Mondays off. I just woke up. Yeah, if you take Mondays off, man, you better pay attention to what's going on. There's some crazy stuff here. You Do Suck here says, Joss Whedon is coming back. Not in a million fucking years. Not in a million years. But I do think that, RJ says Zach can just be a producer. He doesn't have to direct. But being a producer, if he's a hands-on producer, is a different story. Him being a producer for Wonder Woman 84 and the Suicide Squad, just because they use characters that he was involved with, he didn't do any work on those movies. So him being a producer is really in name only sort of thing. So, but again, being a producer takes a lot of time. Music Man here is not a fan of Ray Fisher. I am not as well. I think Ray Fisher has openly badmouthed the studio enough times to where, quite frankly, why would anyone at the studio, doesn't matter, new or old, he tarnished them under, under what I believe is a lot of bullshit. And you know what? But if they want him to come back, then that's the thing. They want him to come back. Obviously, that's something that they want to work on. Because look, I think there's been enough movement with the popularity. Okay, so let me kind of touch base on this for a second. I don't believe that Zack Snyder's Justice League was profitable for Warner Brothers, but I think it did enough to reinvigorate things to where they can make something out of it. I do think that. I think with Ben coming back to wrap up with The Flash, or we don't know now what's going to be happening. Picture's locked. The movie is, as far as that's concerned, is done. But Ben coming back and popping up for a post-credit scene or a cameo in Aquaman. But we don't know where Michael Keaton stands on all of this. We have no idea what's going on with any of this. So anything could possibly happen. Momoa getting Aquaman 3, I'm pretty sure is going to happen. And then you've got, obviously there's Ezra. Will Ezra come back for more? And I think if the movie does well, they're going to want Ezra to come back. So I have to wait and see. But I think an Andy Muschietti directed Justice League 2 would be really good. I would be very excited to see that. However, okay, Moisture here asks for $2 too. I think Ezra deserves to come back. Well, here's the thing with Ezra. Ezra has committed some crimes and acted very erratically and has been under the influence of substances. I think Ezra, if Ezra goes to rehab and if Ezra wants to sort Ezra's shit out, then by all means, sure. I don't have a problem with that. But I think Ezra's got personal stuff and personal demons that they need to sort themselves out. So we'll have to wait and see. Max here says, remove the art from the artist. Ray Fisher Cyborg makes Justice League better. I think he should be back. Well, at the same time, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but Cyborg was barely in the 2017 movie, which as far as I can tell, they're still modeling after the 2017 movie. So, they could recast Cyborg and no one would notice outside of Zack Snyder fans. And that will be a little bit of annoyance online, but really it's just some noise. Spider-Man Gaming here asks, what do you think of accountability over entertainment? It's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. It's a marketing slogan. Anyone who believed that Ray Fisher actually believes in accountability over entertainment when it doesn't directly serve him are lying to themselves. 150,000 million bazillion cajillion % lying to themselves. The guy's a diva, man. All right. Like, I think he got fucked over and I think he is owed an apology from certain people. But him going after Hamada the way that he did for as long as he did, that was bullshit. It was absolutely bullshit, and everything else. So nah, man, on that front, fuck Ray Fisher. He's got some apologies to give of his own, which is why accountability over entertainment is bullshit, because no one is held into account. RJ here with 5 bones. Thanks, RJ. Says, in regards to the new Justice League movie, will they rebrand it as JLA or another title moniker due to the JL brand name being damaged by the 2017 film? Here's the thing with that. I think it will be Justice League and they'll rebrand it with another moniker. But I don't think they're going to have JLA because they had JSA in Black Adam. Now, JSA was just listed as JSA. They didn't say Justice Society of America. They said Justice Society, but JSA was there. And if you look it up, that's what it is. Justice League of America. Again, it's kind of like so stupid to have that title. It's very jingoistic. It's very nationalistic. I feel like if they want to have a worldwide brand on that, they're going to do it, but they'll probably maybe call it Justice League 2 or Justice League Reborn or something like that, or fuck it. Justice League Rebirth. You know what I mean? Like they'll call it something that will signal its departure from Zack Snyder's side of things. And I do think that's what's going to happen. No, I don't. Yeah. You don't call it Justice League 2. Call it Rebirth. Call it Rebirth. So we got that one right there. Midas here says Ray Fisher doesn't want to come back at this point, but he'll ride the wheels off for his apology from Hamada. Yeah, I know. Hamada's like, I got all this money and he'll work. RJ here says Batflix gets lost in time at the end of The Flash. And apparently I don't know about Ezra. Yeah. Anything there could happen. Member chat time. Was there a member chat that I didn't get because I don't get notified by fucking YouTube on this front? Sons of bitches, man. Hold on here. Let me get that. And I know that there's a CJH. I did see yours, man. I will get to that here in a minute. I just wanted to keep on point. So, okay. Ray here says, I wanted to send a reminder for CJHs. Yeah, I see it. I just wanted to get through this before we get to that. to keep it on point. But I appreciate you guys letting me know. CJH, trust me, I see you. Moisture for $2. Thank you, buddy. Says, do you think we'll get Wonder Woman 3? Sadly, yes. Yes. Film Goblin asking, do you believe entertainment greater than accountability? No, I think accountability is greater than entertainment. But if you're going to preach it, you better fucking live it. And that's what doesn't happen with Ray Fisher. He doesn't live it. He just doesn't live it. He's absolutely a fucking liar. The Watcher here says Wonder Woman 3 is nearing pre-production. No, she just finished up the draft. They're going to go through multiple drafts and figure out what they want to do with it. Now that James Gunn's in charge, since the film isn't in pre-production yet, there might be a lot of changes to the story. And if you watched Wonder Woman 84, you know that it's a bad story. That it's a very, very bad story. And it was terrible. And they should have never done it. And I think James Gunn is smart enough to realize that absolutely damaged and butchered everything that they were going for with Wonder Woman 1. I'm sorry. I think they really fucked it up. So Blessing here asks, who do you think from the OG Justice League is not coming back? I think they're all coming back if they can. The only person that would be a cutout would be Ray Fisher. Other than that, I think they all would come back. Because if Batman is lost in the multiverse or whatever, then you're just gonna have your 5 led by Superman, and then it's gonna be maybe a bit of a juxtaposition to BVS, right, or to Justice League. Rationally for 5, thanks, buddy. Says if they keep the original cast, then technically it's Snyderverse, no. And if Affleck does stay, Grace will have a meltdown. I very much want Ben Affleck to stay on. I did love him as Batman. I really did. Here's the thing though. See, this is where we get into a very interesting question. And that of course is, what is the Snyderverse? At this point, what is the Snyderverse? I mean, look, there are people that I saw freaking the fuck out on Twitter because they were talking to, was it David Ayer was talking, he congratulated James Gunn and they basically called him a bootlicker. You know what I mean? Like they basically like called him all of this stuff. But they're not going to support the Ayer cut anymore because he was like playing nice with James. And they're like, oh, you can't do that. It's terrible. You can't do, oh my God, it's terrible. They're freaking the fuck out, dude. So it's like, the Snyder, again, what is the Snyderverse? That's going to be a lot of people are going to have to ask that question, and a lot of people are going to have to answer that question. And I think at this point, the Gunverse is where we are. The Snyderverse is effectively dead. Remnants of it might remain. DNA strands of it might remain, but it is not going to be the same team. And then that begs the question, is it something worth fighting for? I guess that's my question here. Moisture for 2. Thanks, buddy. So is James Gunn not rebooting the DCU? I mean, it's going to be a soft reboot is what it is. I think James Gunn is going to look at what they've already have established. How do they build from there to get to where they want to go versus going back to the drawing board? And I get that. Let's see. Spherical Man here says Ryan Reynolds or Wayne T. Carr as Justice League 2 Green Lantern. Neither. I'm hoping for Sterling K. Brown as Jon Stewart. RJ here says, there's no clear definition of what Snyderverse is. Everyone has their own definition. For me, I just care about the cast and those characters continuing. It's Zach's DC spirit carrying on. But how long will that hold? How long will that hold, RJ? That becomes the question. How long will excitement turn into apathy if they don't get what they want, right? If Zach doesn't come back, and this is where I do think that James Gunn needs to make that call, but at the same time, I understand why he's not. If Henry Cavill is like, oh, I want to meet with James Gunn, I want to work on this story before we sign the deal, and whatever they're going to do with it, we're going to know more as time goes on. But it's like, how long will that excitement hold? Because again, like, I hate to say it, I just hate to be a broken record on this one, but Superman did not move the needle for Black Adam, and it's only going to come out at like 400 to 420 fucking million. So I have to wait and see there. H. Bart's here says Cyborg won't come back without an apology from Warner Brothers. I mean, like, if he, if he wanted from Hamada, and now that Hamada's not there anymore, that's going to be where things become sticky, is the best way to describe that. So Spherical Manor says Gun versus TSS and Peacemaker. It gets folded. Yeah, it will get folded into everything. Absolutely. It will absolutely get folded into everything. So we're going to have to wait and see on this one. Robotic Dre says there's no Snyderverse, only Zool. I mean, sorry, just that the DCU is now. Let's see. Nate here says, could Cavill be out after The Flash? No. I think what's going to happen with Henry Cavill, if you want my honest opinion, is he's going to come on in, look, because they haven't signed a deal yet. So, that we don't know what it is that they are what they're arguing about or what they want, what they are negotiating. What I think is happening is that Cavill has a tentative promissory note to come back, but they need to hammer out the details. And I think that Cavill wants a much larger seat at the table. He wants to be there. He wants to absolutely be involved in this. And I think that's going to work out really well for him. Raimi here says, James Gunn tried to bring stuntmen for Batfleck and Cyborg and Peacemaker for the Justice League cameo. Hamada shut it down most likely. I mean, I don't know what happened with that. But I mean, I wouldn't, dude, I'll tell you this though. If I was Walter Hamada, yeah, I wouldn't give Ray Fisher any cred. Why would I give Ray Fisher any cred? I wouldn't give Ray Fisher anything. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like the guy absolutely fucking was a complete dick. So there's that. All right. Phantom Menace says, you can do what Justice League 2001 did, where they only have some of them know each other like bats and soups and the rest are introduced to each other in the new movie. That could be a thing. I think that'd be okay. Midas here says, James Gunn is hard at work writing a script. I don't know. Maybe Superman related, but I don't know about Justice League. I have to wait and see on that one there. Please don't be Christina Hodson, though. Please don't be Christina Hodson. Moisture for 5. Thanks, buddy. Says, you think Feige is giving Gunn notes behind the scenes? I do. Because again, there's been the rumor that Kevin Feige stealth produced Venom. You know what I mean? And it kind of had a bit of those vibes every once in a while. There's those rumors there. And while I don't believe in any capacity that Kevin Feige is stealth producing fucking, whatever Gunn is up to, I do think he'll sit down with Gunn and they'll go over plans. I really do. I think he would sit down and he would act as a bit of a consultant. Like James is like, again, this is what this is what I would do. This is exactly what I would do. I'd call him up and go, hey man, listen, so we got to make this thing fucking slap. And Feige is just a fan of cinema. He just wants to see more movies. So he'd be cool with helping out. What do you recommend? And Feige will always say this. He always says, give the fans what they want, just in new and inventive ways. I'm paraphrasing, but that's effectively it. Give the fans what they want, but in a new way. So it's not going to come across as being this repetitious type of storytelling. Give them something new, but they also have to have continuity within the universe, which is why there is the homogenization of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. There just really is. You guys can't ever get away from that. I'm sorry, but that is what it is. So obviously Gunn, if this is true, is going to sit down and talk to Feige. And I'll tell you this, guys, if there was a possibility, if there was a way, an absolute way to be a fly on the wall of that conversation, I would be super fucking stoked to see it. I would, oh God, just to get the recordings of that would be great. Anthony here says, Matt called a Hodson one of the, shut the fuck up. I did not say that about Christina Hodson. The Watcher says here that Feige's not giving him notes. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you really like that? Nah, dude. Nah, man. You're wrong. I think you're wrong. I'll tell you why you're wrong. I'll tell you absolutely why I think you're wrong. Feige loves movies. Feige is competitive. He is very competitive, and he's undercut DC multiple times, but he's not going to cock slap his friend. He's not going to cock slap his protege. You have to remember, James Gunn, leading up to 2018, was being groomed to take over, to take on a position, a leadership position, an executive position at Marvel, overseeing the cosmic side of it. That was the rumor. And then all that went to shit when, he ended up getting canceled. But Kevin Feige always stood by him. Kevin Feige always looked after him. Kevin Feige, was clearly on board with him coming back to do Guardians 3, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Feige has always had James Gunn's back, 100%. And you're telling me that now one of his protege is in the direct competition category, that he's not going to sit there and help out, right? Yeah. Look, Resident Justice here. RJ says Feige gave Sony notes about Amazing Spider-Man 2 and other movies. They didn't take his advice, but it was a competing studio, and he did write notes based on what they had to give them advice. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like, look, I'm not saying like Feige's going to stealth produce or he's going to like come on out and like, lead from behind the shadows or whatever. But what I'm saying is that he will definitely, if there's notes to give, he'll give them. Nick Winstead asking, why do you hate Christina Hodson? What did she do to you? She wrote bad movies. Bumblebee was god awful. Birds of Prey was pretty bad in its writing. The Flash, at least, Muschietti and his sister can handle that story. So I'm okay with that one. Gunn already learned under Feige, says the watcher. Yeah. You're telling me that if you're stuck, you're not going to call your mentor and ask for help, to ask for any kind of advice. Jarbo, remember when you thought Hodson wrote Dune? I never fucking said that, dude. I never said that. What are you talking about? That's a lie. How was Bumblebee awful? Anthony Cheeseman asks. Did you watch the movie? The movie was bad, dude. Like, the story was bad. Haley Steinfeld was really good. The character of Charlie, I thought, was nice. Some of her character decisions are pretty goddamn terrible, and other things are pretty fucking terrible. But the story was pretty bad. And Travis Knight did not, I think, did the best job directing, which is why he went back to animation. Bumblebee is not a good movie, Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Like, again, Bumblebee is a cool character. Haley Steinfeld was a good character. Charlie was a good character. They had fun moments, but the movie, go back and watch the movie again. It's terrible. It's fucking terrible. Geeks here says, I've never seen Bumblebee, but I own it. Yeah, you should watch it. You should watch it. Shut the fuck up, RJ. I did not say that I love Christina Hodson and believe Bumblebee was the best Transformers ever. You guys are fucking liars. You guys are all liars. You guys are all liars here. You're just trolling me. All right, let's get to the super chat here that I did not get to right away. I am sorry for that, CJH. Oh, fuck bears. I thought I saved it. I did not save it. I gotta go find it again. So CJH had left a $5 super chat, Canadian. I did want to address it. I thought I had saved it in StreamYard. For that, I apologize, buddy. I fucking feel like shit for missing that. I'm just trying to fucking find it here. Oh, God, you guys are too many people chatting. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's not a bad thing. There we go. Okay. Thank you. All right. CJH here says, for 5, I just would rather have fun. I'm tired of all the movie talk. You're right about it not adding anything to the grand scheme of things. I'm burnt out. Dude, I get you, man. I get burnt out all the fucking time. I love movies. I love talking about movies. Like, I'll tell you, for example, tonight I was listening to Hack the Movies, right? They're talking about a movie called Man Thing that came out like 20 years ago. And I just can't get into their conversation. Like, it's just like, I like to actually talk about a movie, to go into it, what I like about it. Like, even if you're going scene by scene and dive into the nitty gritty of it. But like, when you stop to like make jokes or you just get distracted, it just to me comes across as like not the greatest. But then again, YouTube allows for a great deal of people to have voices. And but the reality of it is it's not always fucking fair. You know what I mean? It's not always fucking fair for which voices get amplified and which voices don't. It's a grind. It's a terrible grind at times. It's an emotionally draining, physically exhausting grind. But like, and that's the thing though, is like certain people, and I know who you're referring to, generally speaking, their version of movie talk is like, hey, let's cover what's going on and do it in a very specific fashion. The great thing is you're not beholden to that channel or that person. And you have the opportunity. You have the opportunity to do and build your own thing. Don't get burnt out. Use it as a form of motivation. Ask yourself, what about movies? What is it about movies that you love? What is it about movies that motivates you? What is it about movies that makes you absolutely enjoy all of the things that make you just want to dive on it? That's what I would say to that. Definitely would do that. But I do agree with Geeks here. I'm sick of scoopers, dude. I know that this is kind of talking about it tonight a little bit, and I don't normally bring up scoopers, but I thought it was too good of a subject to not talk about. And I made this cool graphic, man. You can't even tell it's not even the same poster. I made it look like Superman is just like the bottom of the barrel. But anyway, that's where I could put him. Moisture for $5. Thank you, buddy. Says, you think Gunn could recruit other Marvel alums like Taika Waititi, Peyton Reed, or John Watts to come over and make some DC films? I mean, look, man, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. But I'll say this though, man. I feel that if like, like Taika and John Watts, I think they want to move on to other things. Peyton maybe wants to move on to do other things. I think after a while, you're going to want to get new blood in. If I was James Gunn, I would start looking at fucking like horror directors, dude. Because that's where he got his start. He worked on it with Trauma, and he worked his way up through doing like, well, okay, obviously Scooby-Doo, but like finding things like that, finding comedians who can handle horror, finding comedians who can understand that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty good, who also understand character development and story structure and interconnectivity and everything else, as well as heart. They need a lot of heart. And I agree with Blessing here. I think they're going to start off small. I completely agree. And I'm excited for it, right? Come to Portland so we can chat. I haven't been down there in a while. I'm going down next month, but that's for a family thing. Do I think that Spielberg is going to do Man of Steel 2? No. No. I kind of feel like, if I'm being honest, I kind of feel like Spielberg might be like the Fablemans might be his swan song, So there's that. Goober316 here says, Sandberg did horror and he did a good with Shazam. Goddamn right he did. Man. I really like David F. Sandberg. Like, I think he's a fantastic director. And because of him, I'm excited for Shazam 2. Like, if you were to try to sell me like, oh my God, Zachary Levi, I'm like, yeah, I like Zachary Levi and all, I do. But I'm like, what, for me, the director of Shazam has got me wanting to come in. And then learning about Walter Hamada and making that suggestion for the whole mom storyline in the first one, that was really good. And so I'm like curious to see what's going to be happening here. Goblin asking, what about Nolan doing Man of Steel 2? Hell no, man. Hell no. No, Nolan ain't coming back to that shit, man. Nolan just wants to do his original stuff now. So RJ here says, Spielberg said he won't stop directing until he dies. He wants to do a Western. He could be meeting with Safran and Zaslav about the DC Elseworlds Blackhawks movie, about the pilots or whatever. Didn't they announce that back in like 2017? I remember covering that on this channel back when I first started doing movie talk. So, yeah, there's no, look, by all means, I would love it if he did one more World War II themed movie, if you guys, obviously Saving Private Ryan is the shit. If you haven't seen Band of Brothers, it is 10 episodes of epic awesome. It's currently $10 on Blu-ray right now for Black Friday sales at Best Buy. I would pick it up in a heartbeat. He also did The Pacific, produced that with Tom Hanks, which is all about the Pacific Theater of World War II. I never saw it, but because I didn't have HBO at the time and I kind of forgot about it, but I've heard good things about it. But definitely recommend Band of Brothers. There's great. Yes, I'm aware that Spielberg that Nolan did produce Man of Steel. That's true, he did. So we'll have to wait and see how that whole thing is going to play out. Red Salute here brings up Munich. Yes, I believe that Daniel Craig, his best performance was in Munich when he says, the only blood that matters is Jewish blood. And just the way he just says it so matter of fact. The only blood that matters is Jewish blood. This was a year before he became Bond, actually. So, yeah. All right, Jess asking, what about Red Pill Anime Night? We'll do that on Wednesday. Wednesday will be Red Pill Anime Night, because I'll probably be off tomorrow unless something crazy happens. Geek and Review says Band of Brothers is maybe the best limited TV series show ever. It's so good. Band of Brothers makes me fucking cry, dude. That movie has made me, that show has made me cry. Like, just, I'm not even kidding you. It's just made me completely just like cry my eyes out. Anyway, so as we get to the end of everything tonight, I want to remind everybody, you guys can check out the Discord. There's the link for that right there. Great way to keep in contact with me and a great way to keep an update on what's going on with the show and with the channel and everything else. I really do appreciate everybody who hangs out. Don't forget to check out youtube.com Patio Commentary, which is where I post my reviews and probably more long form stuff. But we'll be talking, doing anime coverage on Wednesday night, Anime Red Pill Night. So Wednesday, you'll have a good reason for Anime Red Pill Night. Oh, is that when the DVD comes up? Taylor got me Your Name on Blu-ray, sending it to my P.O. box. I gotta go check that. Donovan here says, I really want your Argyle vid. I'll do I'm going to do a deep dive into Argyle. All right. I'm going to do a deep dive into Argyle. Tonight was just a lot of news I wanted to dive into. I probably chose too much, as I usually tend to do, because I want to cover as much as humanly possible. but an hour and a half is a good length for the stream. Geeks, yeah, obviously, if you're a little late, buddy, come back and check out the replay. It's a tight hour and a half. Toit, which is just the way that I like it, guys. Thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. Really, really, really appreciate it. Be sure to check out a movie. Watch a movie. Go watch something you haven't seen yet. Watch something you love. Watch something comforting. Tomorrow's a blood moon on an election night during a very contentious time in our culture. So I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. If you haven't already, go out and vote. And then get ready for some crazy shit to go down. This is Hollywood After Dark, folks. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great night. Peace the fuck out.